Hey everyone, it's me, Zane.
And it's Morgan.
And today we have something pretty special for you. We got our own Hedgehog paperweights. These guys are so freaking cute.
They are so cute.
We're just talking about how they kind of look like they have grandma hair on them.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, this craft really wasn't as intensive as we thought it was. And yeah, let's go and just get started here.
Alright, let's jump in. So in this week's craft bag, you should have some thread, some stuffing, a little template, some felt, one sewing needle. So you should have that. You should also have a permanent marker, some little rocks like this or marbles, and then your big chunky yarn. Also a pair of scissors if you have them. Well, you definitely will need them, so go find those. I'm gonna take about a piece of thread about this long. Just keep it off to the side here. And then we're going to take our chunky yarn, and it's already wrapped up pretty nicely, but we need to make it into a pom-pom. So if you know how to make yarn into a pom-pom, just go ahead and do that. But if you don't, I'm going to show you how. So to make a pom-pom, you're just going to want to take your 4 fingers here, or you could take 3 fingers, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to use 4 because I have smaller hands. And then I'm going to start wrapping loosely around my hand like this.
Something we should probably mention as well is with the nose. We included some glue in there for you guys.
Yep, I just didn't grab any glue. I'll have to grab that. Sorry about that, guys. Yes, you should also have a little bit of tacky glue in there as well. And for the nose, we're not going to leave it like this tan color. We're actually going to color it with the Sharpie to make it black. So once you have that, you're going to take it off, and then I'm going to do it a little differently. I'm going to keep it on my hand like that. Take this thread, and actually I might need to make the string a little bit bigger here. Maybe not. Let me see. Just gonna tie it around here like that. Tie it really tight. Make it into a double knot.
And then go a little bit longer.
Yeah. So I'm like, if you need to cut your thread and make it a little bit longer, definitely do that. Alright. Tie that off like that, and you have kind of like a little present or something. So then I'm going to take my scissors and put them through part of this, and then I'm going to snip. So I'm just going to start cutting into it. You just want to get around all these little loops, like get the scissors around it. Alright, so it should start looking something like this, where all the little pieces are snipped. But if you can see pieces like this that aren't getting snipped just because it's so crazy in here, just find it and then take your scissors and pull through like that. You just want it to be hedgehoggy looking, like more spikes. And then if you have one long piece like this, just trim all of that extra off. So after you get one side done, you're going to go to the other side and do the same thing. So I'm now that I have my pom-pom, pretty much all the little loops cut. I might have missed 1 or 2, but yeah, here, I'll just go and find them when I'm looking through this. But some of my strands are longer than the others, so I'm gonna go through and just try to trim them so they're a little shorter so they match the other ones. So now that I have my pom-pom looking pretty alright, I mean, I might trim some more off later, depending on how big it is. Like, I might want to make the actual pom-pom smaller, so we'll decide all of that stuff in a little bit. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and start putting this onto this. So I think I'm going to make this the top part of my hedgehog, and then the more yellow one, like the bottom, like the underbelly.
I think I'll also do the same.
Okay, sweet. Yeah, I just think that will look better. And I went ahead and already cut my piece of paper out, like I said, and then I just put this on top of the felt and then traced it with my little Sharpie here. And then I cut this out, and then you might have a little bit of like residue on the side from the Sharpie. Whoops, let me just throw that away. I'm gonna have this as the inside where I'm like gonna put all my stuffing. So I guess this will technically be the top, and the part with the Sharpie outline will be the bottom. So we're going to go ahead and take our other embroidery thread here, and this thread actually has 6 pieces of thread to make this one piece. So we're going to find and pull apart 3 pieces. So we're pretty much going to split this in half. And to pull these apart, we're going to find all the threads here, and then we're going to slowly pull them apart like that. So this is just going to make our thread a little bit thinner, because we don't need it to be this thick, because we're not embroidering anything. We're just hand stitching, and you might see that it gets a little spinny, like this one is spinning just because the thread is tangled a little bit, and that's why we're pulling this part really slow. Because if you don't do it slow, you'll get huge knots, and then your piece of thread will be ruined. So we're going to go ahead and take our needle, and we're going to take one piece of thread, and we might have to lick the end of it, like the end of the thread, just to thread it through the
Now,
eye.
is it only one piece of thread, or can it be like multiple? They got 3.
Yeah, we're going to take the 3 pieces, so we're pretty much just pulling apart half of the thread.
Okay.
Yep, and then take 3 pieces of thread that will act as one thread. If your thread at the end has any like fuzzies, I would just like trim like 1 centimeter off, and then just try again. But these needles have huge eyes, so it should be easy to thread this no matter what. Alright, so then I'm going to go all the way down, and I'm going to tie a knot. I'm going to take the 2 ends at the bottom here. If you guys have never taken any sewing classes, I'll show you how to do this, but if you know how to just tie like a knot at the end of a needle, that's fine. But if you don't, you take the two pieces, line them up as evenly as you can, and then we're going to take our thumb and our index finger, and we're going to wrap it around our index finger twice, and then roll it like this off, and then pull the thread. So once you have your knot ready, you're going to try to find the middle of this where you made like your knot with just this regular embroidery thread, and we're going to put it through the middle like this, and then we're going to open this up here. We're going to open up our thread like so, and then we're going to take our needle and we're going to put it through. So really you could have it like this, and then we're just going to pull that through, and then just try to get some of the like your fuzzies out of the way. It's kind of like we're lassoing this thing, just so we can keep it in place when we're about to sew it onto the hedgehog. So we're gonna lasso your like hedgehog pieces, so it's kind of like on a string. And then what we're gonna do is take the top, like the good side that has no like marks on it, like this, the bad side has the Sharpie line. So we're gonna shove it through the top of the good side, right in the middle, like that, and then pull it through. So then, like, okay, obviously I'm gonna have to trim some of my hedgehog hair because you can barely see the hog under this hedge. So we need to tie this down first. So I got like some fuzzies here. I'm gonna get this fuzzy out of the way. But then I'm going to take this and shove my needle back through. It might take some tries, but then I'm going to slip it through the other side like that. Just push it back through. So you're kind of doing something like this, so you can see. So you're going in and then coming back out.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
You're like hooking it. Yeah,
in.
yeah, I had to shove it like onto the table, like push it like
Alright.
this, and then pull it back through. So you should have something like one little stitch that looks like this. Alright? So then we're gonna go back over top of it. I'm gonna say just go back over like that, like close to the original stitch that you made, and then do the same thing. We're going to go in here and then out through the other side. So you guys can see how that looks, like that. All right, and then once you have that, we're gonna pull it through. Right. And if you want to, you can do it one more time. I always like doing things 3 times. It might look kind of weird, but not a big deal. So to finish off the knot here, we're going to just slip it under this like black piece of thread like this. Take our needle and slip it under just this black thread. All right, then we're going to slowly pull this, and to make a knot we're going to take this needle and then take it through this lasso loop or whatever and then pull it. All right, and then once we have that loop, we're going to take it under the other piece of black thread, the other stitch right next to it. That's why we made more than one. And we're going to do the same thing and then lasso it around. And then we're going to do that one more time. Let's go ahead and trim some of this down, because if yours is like mine, which it probably is, it's a mess and you can't even see the hedgehog. So I'm just going to like kind of hold it in my hand like this and start like trimming a lot of this off. I'm liking how it's looking now. So I'm going to keep it like that, at least for now. I might trim more off, who knows. Okay, so now I'm going to take my other piece of felt and find the bad side. And then with the other piece of thread, I'm going to go ahead and take this off and use my other long piece that I went ahead and pulled apart. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take my thread and thread it through the eye of the needle. Then you go ahead and find the 2 ends and then put them together and wrap them around the finger twice, your index finger.
I think that's enough right there.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's good. And then go ahead and roll it off your finger again and then pull the string. That. And if you guys are still having trouble with how I'm explaining how to tie the string, maybe look at another YouTube video that goes a little more in depth with it. So we're going to take the bad side, or the sharpied side, and we're going to put it up against this other piece of felt that's also sharpied. So then we're going to line them up. And I'm actually going to start in the back here, and we're going to leave a hole in this because that is how we're going to fill it with our marbles here and some of our stuffing. So we do not want to sew this between here and here. I would leave like an inch in the back. So we're going to start on the right side, about like right here. I would say like the edge in the back. And actually, instead of starting like on this side, we're actually going to start on the inside on this yellow piece, or the more yellowy one first, because that's going to hide our big knot inside of the hedgehog. So instead of having it on the outside, we're going to have this knot hiding inside of here. But then we're going to do something called a blanket stitch, and that is just a stitch on the inside, like outside. So instead of doing like a running stitch, which is just around the edge here, we're actually going to kind of make it like a little pillow or something. So we're going to take the thread or the needle, and then right below the yellow piece there is that tan piece, so we're going to shove it through the tan piece and then up through the yellow, the needle, and then
on the edge there.
Yep, and pull it tight. So we're kind of making a stitch that you'll see along the edge. You'll see that the thread comes through the top of the yellow piece, and then we're just going to do the same thing, and we're going to go back down underneath of it, a little to the right of it, and then poke your needle through the tan piece and then up through the yellow.
How far should we be spacing this out?
I would say, like, I'm spacing it, if you can see that, like maybe 1/2 centimeter. So it does, like, I would keep it like the stitches like pretty close together and pretty close to the outside of the actual like felt piece. But you don't want to get it too close to the edge because you don't want your like felt to like rip or anything. I mean, it shouldn't do that, but just in case. So
kind of just having problems just like actually shoving it through there.
Yeah, it's gonna take a little bit of time because again we're using embroidery needles instead of sewing needles, because I cannot send home to you guys anything sharper than an embroidery needle, like, because I can actually like poke myself with it and it doesn't hurt. So that's how you know you're using really dull needles. So if you have sewing needles, please use that. It'll take way less time. But yeah, so just keep shoving it through like about this, like close, like that, all the way around. And if you guys just type in blanket stitch, it'll show you online like kind of what that looks like. So really we just want to make sure that we like keep this even until the nose. We just want to make sure the nose, like the points meet up. So just keep that in mind when you're sewing like around this. And like some pieces are like puckering up a little bit, like here. Just do your best, like even if it's like puckered a little when you're like stitching it, it's okay. Like we're not gonna see most of this. And it'll get filled out by the stuffing and the marbles. But yeah, if you run out of thread, just go back to the other piece that you're using, like the old one that we had. Like it should have about this much extra. I think you guys actually have more thread than us. We usually give you guys a little bit extra since we have it
special.
Yeah, and we have this like on the spot, obviously. But yeah.
We're going up to the nose and then stopping.
Yeah, you can go up to the nose and stop. That's fine. Or you want to try to make it like almost all the way around, but we're gonna leave about this much space, like 1 inch or 1.5 inches in the back. And then we're gonna shove like stuffing and marbles inside of it. So I just wanted to stop here actually. So I have about this much left for my needle and thread. So I like ran out just a little bit. So I'm just gonna use the rest of this to finish this off here in a second. But so I only have this much left. So to tie the knot, I'm just going to go and actually I'm gonna do a little bit closer here. So I'm gonna stitch like a little bit onto this tan piece of felt. And then I'm going to make a loop like I did, but I'm not going to pull it super tight because I don't want it to like pucker any of my felt here. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this off. I'm going to stick my scissors in between like the two pieces of like thread here, and then just pull up on it so I have like two even things to like use to tie a knot. So after I have that like just like looped somewhere, it doesn't really matter, I'm just gonna go ahead and tie like a really loose, like again, I don't want to pull really tight, I just want to make sure it's double knotted and maybe triple knotted, honestly. Okay, triple knotted, and then just cut that off. So now I have about an inch of space, so I'm gonna take a little bit of my stuffing and shove it in here, and I need to push it all the way up to the nose, so I might need like scissors to like help me like shove this farther down, but I just want to make sure that the nose has some like structure here. And then the rest of it, we're actually going to put some marbles in here and make it heavy so it doesn't fall over on itself, because...
We're doing marbles first?
Nope, we're going to do the stuffing first at
Okay.
the end of the nose, and then the marbles will come after. And then if you have any extra room, just put a little bit of stuffing in there, maybe to make it a little softer. Alright guys, so it looks like we're almost done stitching the back up here. I only have a few stitches here left. Once we do that, we're going to tie it off pretty much the same way, but this knot might show just because it's on the outside and we can't like hide it in any spot really, but that's okay.
We've gotten this far doing it.
Yeah, I know, but now it's time to just stop.
It's time to stop,
It's
guys.
time to stop, for real. Okay, I'm going to just go ahead and find a spot like where I started here, and then pull it through and then loop the needle through itself again and pull it tight. Extra off. Like that. Okay, so now we have, looking pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and take my Sharpie and my little bead here, and I'm gonna start just like coloring this. We're gonna turn this black. Or if you want to turn it brown, that's fine too. If you have like a black Sharpie or black marker or paint or something, that's fine. Okay, so once we have our little ball colored here, I'm going to take the glue, which I'm just going to put a little, kind of a lot, not a ton, just enough to make sure it's really going to stick on there. So I'm going to take that here, and then I'm going to put this little nose right on the very end of the hedgehog. Really on the tip of the nose, like that. And then after I have the nose in place, I'm gonna draw on, just like put little dots for the eyes. I just waited to do this so I can really see what the face is going to look like before I dotted the eyes. So I think like right here will be good. I kind of want mine a little closer together because I think it looks cartoony. So cute. Oh my gosh, it's so cute. Alright, so this is what mine turned out like. I think it's adorable. I mean, they're all going to turn out pretty similar for this craft. But again, I really like how this looks. And this is a very just like nice paperweight for something. Or just like a little desk buddy, because they're adorable. Alright guys, so this is how our little hedgies turned out. I think they're very cute. I definitely like this. Sorry, this project is kind of labor intensive. It's a little confusing, but if you get it right and finish it, it's worth it.
If you got through our koala craft, you can get through the hedgehog craft.
True that.